Good tidings, fellow friends of the world, it's Zeklo, and welcome to another Don't Starve Together lore video. It's been a while, for lore videos, but also just in general. I've been pretty busy with school, and I got a part-time job, so my time is just non-existent. But new Don't Starve Together content is coming soon, apart from War Talks that already came out, but like, the new lands and the Willow rework are supposed to roll out at the end of April, for the first wave of stuff at least. And so I really wanted to get this idea I've been sitting on for a while out to you guys, just so you can think about it and whatnot. Partly just because, I like to guess where the story's going, so I can be like, I figured it out before it happened, or I can just cry. That's the other part. Like, something could come out, this week, or next week, that'll just completely discredit it, and I'll just be like, okay, well, I shouldn't have put that video out, but it's gonna be fun. So, for those of you who have watched a lot of my lore content, you'll know that I have two types of videos for this, and that's one where I compile information, where I'm like, okay, well, this is pretty much what we know, that's confirmed, and then I have another where I challenge and quote-unquote theorize about aspects of it. It's mostly speculation and what, that kind of stuff. This is going to be one of those, so it's going to be me speculating and rambling and whatnot. So if you're one of those people who don't like that, then you've been warned. Them and the moon are what I would consider to be some of the most mysterious aspects in Don't Starve, trumped only by probably the truth behind Charlie's transformation into Gru, which I have touched a little bit upon. But before I can get into the meat of this video, I need to address something I always do when I mention them. I go into more detail in my other videos, but the short story is basically just that a common misconception is that they are the shadow creatures, and this isn't quite the case. The shadow creatures are the ancients, as put fairly clearly by the ancient murals. And the other thing is that they does not necessarily refer to multiple, but rather it could be a singular non-gendered entity. So the big question remains, who are they? Now, I know there's the whole, they are us, or they're the developers, or they are a metaphor for some overly complex concept, and all these really deep ideas that have kind of been thrown around since the dawn of time, but I want to go into a potential in-game, non-fourth wall breaking answer, really. They are most recognized as being the true antagonist of the game, and the source of nightmare fuel. I would also say that nightmare fuel is most recognized as the substance which caused the downfall of the ancient civilization. So, it should only be natural that we take a look at the Metheus obelisk, which shows how this downfall occurs. Most notably, they start off by extracting white energy from the gateway, but slowly turn to using the dark energy instead. And once things start getting out of control, we get a representation of the source, a singular unblinking eye, which is of course not blinking because it's a static image and not a GIF. But the point is, what I'm getting at is they are being symbolized by this eye. And this isn't anything new. Way back, we're talking Don't Starve Together didn't exist, and no multiplayer was still the motto. Caves used to have walls, and I don't even think the ruins got added until they were removed, but the point is, there were files, and there are files I think still, where the ruin walls are shown. There were images for them, and they weren't the ruins we're used to. They were actually pretty plain looking, honestly, and instead of the sort of red magenta-y glow we have now, it was a green glow. What's important is that one of these images contains an eye etched into the stone. Now I need to point out that there is a lot of eye symbolism in Don't Starve, so I wouldn't necessarily attribute all of it to them. Some other symbolism is just knowledge, opening your third eye, magic in general, psychic ability, yada yada. So don't attribute everything to them, but there is definitely some overlap there. So what about the moon is so interesting? Well, for starters, it's been getting more and more attention with moon-related recipes, structures, and whatnot being added. However, the original main source of interest lies with Maxwell's lines, which refer to it in quotations. My initial impression was it was simply a matter of saying that this is not the moon, Earth's moon. But the way it's written, in lowercase with the quotes around moon only and not the, Maxwell's actually questioning whether or not it is even a moon to begin with. Okay, so how about we go and get that big reveal out of the way where you guys get to question your existence, except maybe not this time, because they are the moon. I'm guessing a handful of you probably figured it out considering we're covering both of these topics in the same video. But yes, they are the moon, at least in theory, according to me. And the reason I say that is pretty simple, really. The Gateway brought the Ancients both light and dark energy. The dark energy seems to be nightmare fuel, so what about the light energy? Well, the only really light magic we see in-game is from the Moonstone. And might I remind you of a shared feature of both, turning creatures into a material. Moonstone and thulecite, as we know from the unused Mind Atrium statue sprites. It makes a bit of sense, doesn't it? The Ancients had monsters bursting out of them due to nightmare fuel, and guess what happens to the marble sculptures on a new moon? We get the shadow pieces. The moon is responsible for this, pure opal energy, but also turning flowers and trees into dark flowers and mush trees. Heck, even the eyes on staked heads light up white during a full moon. Why do you think I went out of my way to point out that they are being represented by an eye? Because of moon lenses. Moon lenses are like the primary use of Moonstone. And guess what? They look like eyes, because they're literally lenses. It makes sense from a storytelling standpoint. We've learned of the Gateway in the Ancient story, and we've had bits of pieces of moon-related content added to the game. There's a lot of groundwork being built up surrounding it. A new tab, plans on doing something impressive with the opal, which is being hyped up by quotes, Maxwell pointing out the moon's irregularity, even the Na's favor having opals in it, like, there is something going on. And the common theme between both Nightmare Fuel and the moon seemed to be transformation. Ancients into shadows and thulecite. Werepigs and hounds to Moonstone. Pigs to werepigs. People into merms, if you want to count that. Characters to other characters, if you want to count the portal. Transformation. And what better place to stare down upon your entertainment than the sky itself? It's a pretty out-of-this-world theory, wink wonk, but I think it's interesting to think about. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, or at least got a kick out of it if you think it's just complete nonsense, which is fair, it's just some crazy rambling from a crazy guy. But give me your comments down below. You guys always have fun ways of either adding on or just completely demolishing everything I create, so that'll be fun. Just be considerate, of course, and if I piqued your interest and whatnot, don't forget to like and subscribe for new content whenever I have time to do that. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and farewell.